So for Christmas, I got an iPad and an Apple Pencil, and I actually already unboxed it and played around with it a little bit, but I'm going to be talking about inside this video how I like it and my experience so far.
Hello and welcome to my video. So in this video I'll be using the Apple iPad 11 Pro and the Apple Pencil. So the Apple iPad 11 Pro is a pretty expensive product. I got this gifted to me for Christmas from my parents, and I got the Apple iPad from my grandma, and it stands at around $800 for the tablet itself, the Apple iPad itself, and the Apple Pencil is around $150 to $200. So it's a pretty expensive drawing software. But the Procreate was only $13 on the App Store. So I bought the Procreate software because this is a very well-known software, and I played around with it for a while, and I want to talk about my experience and what I've drawn and what I think of it so far. So first of all, right off the bat, I really like Procreate. I really love Apple, the Apple iPad, and I think it's a very expensive product, but if you can get your hands on one, it's a lot of fun to use. So as you can see here, I started off with some card drawings because I wanted to draw whatever I was drawing at the time inside my sketchbook, just so then I can get the hang of the drawing software. And so I drew some cars, which is what I was drawing at the time. And this was a really fun experience to sketch on because I had bought the pencil screen protector, or the paper screen protector, I mean, which basically means it felt like I was drawing on paper for the screen instead of like glass, because you can buy a glass screen protector, but the paper screen protector made it feel more familiar because I'm more of a traditional artist. So one of the many things I like about Procreate is the many color palettes. So you can actually take an image and then make a color palette out of that image. Procreate does it for you, which I found really helpful because when I was drawing this portrait here of the girl sipping a drink, I did a portrait of her and I used the color palette from the image and then I drew that digitally. And I used purple for shadows, and I really liked the way the layers could be played around with a lot. I used like the opacity and a bunch of settings inside the layers to add shadows and depth inside the image. And I'm not really a digital artist. I didn't use a lot of digital art because I only had an Intuos Wacom tablet, which is it's not a screen tablet. And so it wasn't really that great. And I played with it around with it a lot and used it a lot, but it's nothing compared to a screen tablet. The brushes I found really complicated to use at first, and that was one thing that I found about Procreate and the Apple iPad. There was a steep learning curve, so that's something I didn't really like, but there are a million videos online of Procreate tutorials and how to use Procreate, and so that helped with the learning curve. After watching a bunch of videos and a bunch of tutorials and how to use Procreate, I sketched around and played with it for hours, and then now I feel like I'm familiar with the software. I did find that there was a lot of brushes that I had to get over the learning curve for. Like, for example, there's a few brushes that my favorites are the Procreate pencil, the hard airbrush, the soft brush, and so all these brushes had different settings inside the brushes. So it was hard to know which settings would be the best for my type of drawing, and it was hard at first too that if I put too much pressure on the brush, it fattened the line too much, and it was really hard to play around the pressure sensitivity settings inside the Apple iPad. And so it made it hard for me to smoothly work until I had played around with it for like hours, which that was again part of the learning curve, and I just watched a bunch of videos on how to change the settings. I looked up a bunch of stuff, and throughout hours of learning the in and outs of Procreate, I finally feel like I'm more confident with the brushes and my line work. And I worked with this illustrative, whimsical character design, and I drew a ogre armored looking character riding a armored bear. And I don't know why I did this. I just thought it was a really fun idea and a fun drawing, so I illustrated it, and I had a really fun time actually drawing this one. A few other things I liked about the Apple iPad and Procreate is the Apple Pencil charging was really convenient. For this Apple Pencil, it just hooks right onto the side, and it just clangs right onto the iPad and charges really easily. It's very convenient. Another thing I liked about Procreate, the settings about how to undo and redo are really easy. You just tap with 2 fingers on the screen inside Procreate, and it's an undo button. And then if you tap with 3, it's a redo button. And this was really easy when you're drawing. You just get right into the flow, and then you can just easily undo and redo whatever you're drawing. And now it's really convenient. I'd used a lot of the layer settings, which really helps because I wasn't getting the eye of the bear, for example, correct. And the eye of the bear was looking off, so I just made a new layer. I drew a bunch of eyes for the bear, and then I put my favorite one right on the bear. And this is a thing about the digital art world that I have not experienced yet. Since as I said, I didn't have a digital drawing tablet or a screen tablet. So I didn't, on traditional art, you can't, go back, undo, erase like as easily as you can inside Procreate. So this was a really great thing to use inside Apple iPad, and I've never really experienced that. So digital art, I'm very new to, and I really enjoyed it. Procreate, I think, is a great drawing software, and I would suggest it for anyone that can get their hands on an iPad, and I had a really great time using it. I would say once you get over the learning curve, it's a great software to use. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will definitely be using this iPad in another few videos because it's a really fun drawing software. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.